This meeting will come to order. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education. Adequate notice of the meeting has been provided, and appropriate notice has been given out. Ms. Coleman, a roll call, please.
Mrs. Riley? Oh, she's absent. Mrs. Butchko?
Here.
Mr. McMillan?
Here.
Mr. Tavey?
Here.
Mrs. Marmion?
Here.
And Mr. Schaefer?
Here. We ask that you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is in the back of the room. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, there's no executive session at this time, so we're going to move to item number 3, which is the Teacher of the Year presentation.
Okay, well, there we go. I'll turn a little bit. Okay, well, it's a little something we wrote. We had to fill out an application, so I wanted to pull some of the words that we used to nominate her for another award that we'll talk about. But Miss Magro, right here in the audience in the green shirt, has been an elementary school teacher in our district since September 1st, 2010. We actually started the same exact year. Prior to working in Oaklyn, she also taught at St. Joseph's Cathedral School in Camden, New Jersey for 2 years. During Miss Magro's 12 years in Oaklyn, she has proven not only to be a wonderful educator, but also a model employee. She takes advantage of all professional development opportunities and continues to refine her practice in order to meet the unique and ever-changing needs of her students. Her passion is contagious as she cultivates a curiosity, a desire to learn, and intrinsic motivation in her students and her colleagues. Ms. Magro is known as our go-to person for everything pretty much related to curriculum and technology. She's a team player who's always willing to lend a helping hand. Ms. Magro is also an expert when it comes to meeting the social and emotional needs of her students. She spends quality time building positive relationships with each and every one of her students. If you're looking for Ms. Magro after hours, you will most likely find her at a school event. Her students know that she is one of their biggest fans. As one of our district's trauma-informed care specialists, she has also helped organize and lead staff training sessions on topics such as restorative justice practices and mindfulness. So tonight, I am honored to present this Teacher of the Year Award to Mrs. Kimberly Magro. Ms. Magro's pleasant personality mixed with her motivation to continue to learn and support others makes her the perfect educator to receive this recognition. Our district also submitted a nomination for Ms. Magro to be selected as the New Jersey Exemplary Educator of the Year. So if that voting committee is smart, we might be seeing her again at a board meeting as the county or possibly state Exemplary Educator of the Year. So congratulations once again, and thank you for all that you do for our school community. Our district is very, very lucky to have you on our team. Come on up, Mrs. Magro.
Send me that picture. Yeah, I will. On behalf of the board, congratulations, and we wish you many more years of success here at Oaklyn. So, thank you.
And don't even think about leaving, please.
We won't approve. prove it anyway if you tried to. So. All right, on to section 4 for Committee of the Whole. Do we have a motion to bring the board into Committee of the Whole?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, we are in Committee of the Whole, and there are some items that are here for discussion. So we'll go in order of the listed items, and the first one is student presence at monthly board meetings. So, Rich, I believe you brought these. If you want to lead us off.
Gladly. Yeah, there were a few items that I kind of had in the back of my head during our board retreat, and time ran short. But one of the pieces that came up was just communication with the community, getting the community involved with what we do. So one of the thoughts I had was to see if we could bring our Falcon students, Falcon Student of the Month, Falcon Pride. What was the Hawks? Sorry, the Hawks. I wrote Falcon too. The Hawks student to the board meeting each month, just so we can get some more community members out at the board meetings to kind of see what we do. Have some photo ops for the newsletters and things as well. And then the other communication piece was to see if we could have the board as a distribution list of Global Connects or whatever we're using for s'mores. That way everybody on the board is kind of in the loop as things go out as well. So those are communication pieces, and then there were a couple, or an additional piece just on data and sharing reading levels. So we can start with the communication, I guess, if there's any thoughts.
I like that idea of inviting the student, but I believe, and Ms. Bolden can probably let us know, is it 2 per class or 1 per class every month? So it's just it's like a logistical. I don't know if you have any suggestions of. So I think it's a great idea, but.
I love both those ideas. Also, just wanted to mention, and it'll be down further on our agenda, but there's after-school clubs, so maybe even just getting like presentation or update on the after-school clubs, and maybe a few of those participants could come and share more with the board about that, because there's some really fun things happening there too.
I think, didn't Bill say that used to be done, or was it you that said it used to be done? Bringing, like, having student involvement in the board. How did we do it previously?
The last time I remember was, obviously we had the pandemic and stuff, but at one point we had the STEAM students come, and they actually brought a project and teamed up with a board member, and that was the last time I remember. Again, been through the pandemic. With Student of the Month, or the Hawk of the Month, I've done it where we've just kind of picked a boy and a girl from each grade, or a boy and a girl from a building each month, kind of out of a hat of the group of winners. If there's too many, I definitely get that. Just another thought as well.
Yeah, I love the idea in general. It's like whatever we can do to get more community involvement in, and I think that's kind of the basis of it. So we just get a little bit more community involved in board meetings. So yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, just I'm thinking too about the weekly newsletter, and there's always like a highlight on like a teacher and something happening in their class, so maybe even focus more that way, where if there's something really fun and different happening, or just have like a monthly, just a few students in from a particular class or a particular teacher to share something in their classroom.
That's a good idea to have the teachers send students in with some of their projects that they're working on, and they can be highlighted. I'm sure the students would love to come in and put a little display on as to what they're doing, and it helps everybody know in the community exactly what's going on and happening, and I think it's important.
If I can make a suggestion, I know that there was a culmination recently of the Gifted and Talented program doing a CSI. I'd love to hear more about that.
Agreed. I also want to say some of the music students recently put together songs for class, and had, I guess, performance in class where they wrote music and wrote songs. And my kids will not share theirs with me, but they really had a lot of fun working on it. So even something like that might just be fun.
Anytime you can highlight curriculum and bring it into the view as to what was on paper and you can physically see what's going on, really helps the public know what's happening as opposed to what's written down. They can see what we're putting in effect. And I think it's a really good idea. Yeah.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks for bringing that to for discussion, Rich. And anytime we can spotlight our students, or if we do a student spotlight, a grade level spotlight, I think that's great. That's what we're here for. So, and plus they'd rather see that than listen to us, I'm sure, anyway. So, are there any other comments or questions in regards to the other items there for student achievement, data reporting, and strategic planning? Any other thoughts or comments the board wanted to address regarding those topics?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Board of Education newsletter distribution list, was that mentioned by you, Dr. McDowell, about putting that maybe in the community, daily leaf pickup, like those things that the municipal sends out, so we can save on postage. We talked about that, I believe, at the community.
What we talked about was looking at how do we partner with some of the existing entities that are already reaching folks, and maybe do like a shared distribution list paired with a mechanism that's already, got people's attention. We didn't land on anything specific, but we wanted to keep talking about what were those vehicles,
right?
And then what mechanism would be most appropriate for us in order to increase the.
Yeah, I think it was because we were talking. I mean, obviously there's social media, there's emails, there's everything else, but not everybody gets all that. And I think we just talked about another way. And postage is, I don't know how many houses are in Oaklyn. It's probably not worthy to spend 50 cents a household to send out. Yeah, send out a mail. So anything that maybe town council could send out, we could probably maybe tack onto it. And small enough community, I think we could do that. Yeah.
One of the things in the newspapers that seems to draw a lot of attention, even though most people don't read newspapers, what's an area called What's Happening This Week in Their Community. And that's where we could wrap a lot of the things from the school, from the public, and from town and whatever into one little short bullet email so that everybody gets the highlights as to what's happening. It's not just the school's email, then you have to open up the community email, then you want to go to Facebook and see what's going on here and whatever. So it's a good idea to, short and sweet. You're staying in town this week, here's what's happening on this week, and it'll all come together. Whether it's a recycling situation or a shredding situation, or we're having the talent show, or we're having whatever, everybody knows, hey, this is all that's connected. I think it's a good idea.
Any other items that the board would like to bring for discussion while we're still in committee of the whole?
Rich, can you just elaborate more on your thoughts about the student achievement and data reporting?
Yeah, there was a short conversation we had during the retreat regarding student achievement, student learning levels outside of the tested grades. So to include things, if we're using Fontes and Pinnell levels, Linkit, NWA map, any of those kind of data collection tools that, see if it could be included when Windsor does his presentations, pulling out the standardized state testing data to include some of the grade levels that aren't included in state testing as well.
Perfect. I like that idea. Thanks, Rich.
So just so that the board is aware, probably about 9 months ago, we acquired licenses for Tableau, which is a data visualization tool to help better present information with laypersons, so non-educators. So Windsor and his data coordinator, Melissa, they've been working to learn how to use the tool. So what we're planning for is to post strategic planning, which is the next piece on the discussion, is to be able to report out either monthly or quarterly progress made across the gamut aligned to strategic planning, But the tool also has the capacity to speak to some of the things that Rich talked about, which is current level data. I know that we've got some curricular changes that are taking place. Some of them already have proprietary data reporting systems. So it's just a matter of us coming together with the board and identifying what types of data you would like to see, and then getting it to you in a digestible way instead of us looking at spreadsheets.
All right. Any other items?
Just because strategic planning's on there and because Rich brought this up, I just wanted to ask too if there's ample participation from the Oaklyn community in some of the action teams for strategic planning.
Well, there's never enough participation in these things at all. I would say that there is representation for Oaklyn on the strategic plan. So right now, the phase that we're in is called action planning. So it's really looking at the goals, drafting steps. So it's going to be heavier in terms of practitioners. There are external stakeholders in order to get that community component, but we're really looking for educators to help drive what those steps should be. The more important component, which we will be heavily recruiting for in the fall, is actual implementation. So when we talk about, we've got this plan, in order for it to manifest within the community, we've actually got to have the community helping to drive a lot of those discussions and a lot of the change. So we don't have as much participation in both districts as I would have liked in this phase. But the more important phase is going to be starting in September and October. So I'm confident that we will have more participation. We'll be more open, we'll be more fluid. Some of these pandemic-induced conditions will be hopefully alleviated. We'll have a lot more in person, and I think that folks are they're zoomed out. And actually having the opportunity to come in person, I think we're going to get more participation.
Great, thank you.
Any other items? All right. Do we have a motion to come out of committee of the whole?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are out of committee of a whole. On to section 5, that is your future dates and miscellaneous items there. You can see the dates there. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections to the dates that we see?
I believe there's a typo on the 5th grade promotion. So that is on Wednesday, June 15th.
Okay, so Wednesday, June 15th, not Friday.
Correct.
10 a.m. is still correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
And the last day of school is the 20th, right?
All right, on to section number 6, routine business and approval of the minutes. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Education meeting on April 26th and the minutes of the board retreat from April 30th? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. On to section 7. This is our first public comment section of the evening. We ask that all comments for this public participation be related to items on the agenda only. Please stand, state your name, address, and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. So is there anyone that would like to address the board on items just from the agenda? Okay.
Can I say something as a parent?
Sure.
Not as a board member. I just wanted to applaud Ms. Magro again, her Teacher of the Year. I think it's overdue and well-deserved. Ms. Magro was my kid's teacher when we shut down, and pretty sure we would not have made it those 3 months without her. She was spectacular and really helpful to the parents for all the tech stuff that we had to learn. She was amazing, and thank you, thank you, thank you. You're an incredible teacher, and we love you. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Denise, and congratulations again. All All right, we're going to move to item number 8 there, annual appointments and approvals, and I'm going to hand this section over to Ms. Coleman.
Okay, I apologize to everybody, but this is all of the appointments we have to have by statute, and we have to get them approved by June, so it's about 8 pages worth of stuff. I'm going to go as quickly as I possibly can. So bear with me. Okay, so item 8.01, we're approving Garrison Architects as the district's architect of record. In 8.02, we are approving myself as the secretary of the board, our auditor, Inverso and Stewart, the school doctor, Dr. Lambert, and Capehart and Scatcherd as the board solicitor. In 8.03, we're approving Hardenberg Insurance as the broker of record for your non-health lines of insurance. In 8.04, we're approving Brown & Brown as the Oaklyn broker of record for your health insurance. Your official banks are in 8.05. It's basically just one, First Colonial Community Bank. Your official papers in 8.06. 8.07 is the signature authorizations for the different bank accounts we have in Oaklyn. 8.08 is approving me as the purchasing agent at a bid threshold of $44,000. 8.09 is approving me to purchase CDs and banknotes for investment purposes on behalf of the board. 8.10 is to authorizing me to transfer wire funds between accounts as needed, and it's pretty much done for payroll and for payment of bonds. 8.11 is approving me to pay invoices in between board meeting actual dates and then bringing the list of those bills paid after the fact to the board to ratify. We do that mostly in the summer because we don't have any meetings in July. 8.12, I'm sorry, I'm going to back up. But what I'll do is usually in the summer I send a list in July and then another one in August of everything that I need to pay, and I let everybody look at it, and then once I hear back from everybody, then I pay it. 8.12 is approving me as the custodian of records, so I can respond to all the OPA requests. 8.13 is approving Keith Higginbotham as the asbestos management officer, safety and health designee, IPM management coordinator, chemical hygiene officer, and the AHERA coordinator. 8.14 is approving myself and Keith Higginbotham as the right to know and the POSHA officers on behalf of the district. 8.15 is approving me as the PACO, Public Agency Compliance Officer, and that's for the Department of Labor. 8.16 is approving Windsor Yamamoto as the Compliance Action Officer for Affirmative Action. 8.17 is approving Dr. Whitehouse as the Compliance Action officer for 504 plans in the district. 8.1a is approving Omni Group as your third-party administrator to for your tax shelter, your 403B plan on behalf of the employees in the district. 8.19 is approving Mary Hopkins as your homeless liaison for the 22-23 school year. 8.20 is appointing Jen Bolden as the issuing officer for working papers. 8.21 is approving Windsor Yamamoto as a Title IX coordinator. 8.22 is approving your annual school safety and security plan and emergency plan, crisis prevention and response procedures. 8.23 is approving Jen Bolden as your school safety security officer. 8.24 is approving Dr. Whitehouse as your Americans with Disabilities Act officer. 8.25 is approving your 2022 to 2023 curriculums, and they're all listed in the agenda. 8.26 is just the annual resolution that we are collecting and maintaining student records according with the New Jersey Administrative Code. 8.27 is it's a listing of your special ed programs that you will have in district. 8.28 is approving your educator practice rubrics, and that's the Charlotte Danielson framework. 8.29 is your annual adoption of all your school board policies and procedures, and they're all online. 8.30 is approving the 2022-2023 school year substitute rates, and it's for teachers, secretaries, and nurses, and you'll notice that the rates did go up because minimum wage went up, and it's going to go up again in January, so we raised all the rates accordingly. So I need approval for items 8.01 to 8.30, please.
All right, thank you, Ms. Coleman, for that lengthy list there. So do we do a motion to approve items 8.01 to 8.30?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions on those items?
I have a question on 8.07. Just curious who the treasurer is? Is that not you?
So Dr. McDowell is the treasurer for signing purposes.
Okay.
We used to have a treasurer. Then they passed a state law, said that they technically didn't have to have one. So we reconcile all the bank accounts in the district before we do the financial statements, and then Dr. McDowell signs on behalf.
Perfect. Thank you.
I had a quick question about item 8.25, the district curriculum. Is that being written this summer, or has the writing already begun?
Just for the record, that was, because you were off mic, it is being written now, but it is going to be, some of the things will be revised in the summer, right? Okay.
And I have asked that they keep us posted on the curriculum committee as to what the changes are, and that we can bring anything to anybody's, question, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to review it.
And I just want to request too that in the past we've had in the beginning of the year like a new programs report. So I'd love for the full board to receive that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I had requested, so that, yeah, it's important we all see what's going on. You're right.
Yeah, no, agree. Thank you for the clarification, and absolutely, I think it's important that we're, kept aware of the revisions that are made. So, all right, any other comments or questions?
Just one more question. I'm sorry. Can you just remind me what the current substitute teacher rate is? 100.
I think it was, if non-certified was, I'm looking at Jen, 95, and certified is 100. We had a discrepancy between, so 105? Yeah, we had two rates, so we tried to consolidate it all into one, but we had subs that were not certified teachers, and then certified teacher rates. So we did have two. That's why we have two different rates.
Got it. Thank
But
you.
I believe non-certified was 95. So we moved everything up, so then it
So
became a snowball
125
effect.
is
So
the
then
minimum.
everything,
Yeah,
so everything kind of moved up accordingly.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Riley,
Yes.
Mrs. Falpel,
Yes.
Mrs. Butchko,
Yes.
Mr. McMillan,
Yes.
Mr. Tavy,
Yes.
Mrs. Ezekiel,
Yes.
Mrs. Marmion,
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right, on to Section 9, the Superintendent's Report. Dr. McDowell.
Section 9.01 is the enrollment. With the caveat, this is enrollment pre-K to 5. Total enrollment as of April of 2022 was 482 students when you add in students grades 6 through 12. But for the purposes of this report, April 2021 was 271, and April 2022 was 267 pre-K to 5. 9.02, the principal's safety drill report is attached. No suspensions, no bullying reports, and 9.05 is the attached child study team report from Dr. Whitehouse.
All right, thank you, Dr. McDowell. Section 10, the BA report. Ms. Coleman again.
Okay, item 10.01 is your April 2022 list of monthly transfers. 10.02 is your financial statement, so it's your board secretary and treasurer's report and cash reports, as well as all of the financial backup. 10.03 is a listing of the purchase orders that were issued for Oaklyn in the month of May. And 10.04 is a listing of the bills to be paid tomorrow morning upon approval.
All right, thank you, Ms. Coleman. Does anyone have any questions or comments for those items? All right, Section 11, Finance, Facilities, and Shared Services. So items 11.01 through 11.06 were just presented by Ms. Coleman for our approval. Item 11.07 is our 2022-2023 tax remittance payment schedule. Item number 11.08 is the request to increase Oakland's capital line. Revenue was increased from state aid for the panic buttons we have invested, so that is that item there. Item 11.09, we're looking to approve the continuation of the following services provided by the Camden County Educational Services Commission. They provide special education transportation, child study, team evaluations, things like that on an as-needed basis. Item 11.10 is to approve a contract with Gloucester County Special Services within the school district. They provide services for a deaf student. Item 11.11 is approval for a contract with First Children's Services to provide behavioral consultation from July 1st through June 30th. Item 11.12 is recommendation to approve a contract with Laurel Therapy to provide occupational therapy from July 1st through June 30th. Item 11.13 is to approve a contract with Invo Healthcare Associates to provide physical therapy from July 1st to June 30th. And that is it. So we are looking for approval on items 11.01 through 11.13. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions on those items?
I have a question about 11.11. First Children's Services, is this a group that we've worked with in the past? For behavioral consultation services?
Not in this capacity. We currently use Oxford for that.
Okay,
So, yeah.
thanks.
You're welcome.
Just a question for 11.1, 11.12 and 11.13. Is the existing providers that we use now for occupational and physical therapy?
11.12 is the same, and 11.13 is the same. So the only one different is 11.11.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Riley?
Yes.
Mrs. Valpel?
Yes.
Mrs. Butchko?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Mr. Tavy?
Yes.
Mrs. Ezekiel?
Yes.
Mrs. Marmion?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes. All right, on to Section 12, Curriculum, Technology, and Personnel. Mrs. Riley.
12.01 field trips, there are none at this time. 12.02 after school clubs, there is a listing of the new clubs that are being brought in for next year. And the salaries and things are listed. 12.03 is the list of summer programs that will be going on in the district with the teachers, the program, the hours, and the rates. 12.04 is the resignation of Melody Wong. 12.05 is for after-school supervision for program. 12.06 is EDP stipends. 12.07 is a travel expense report. 12.08 is substitute and teachers. There are none at tutors. I'm sorry, there are none at this time, and I believe that's all.
All right, so we're looking, we have a motion to approve items 12.01 through 12.07.
I just have one question. The after-school supervisor, that is for after-school supervision here. It's just for the, it's 12.05.
So I'm going to have to.
Gotcha, okay. Now it's coming back to me, thank you. I drew a blank. Yeah.
All right, so do we have a motion to approve those items, 12.01 through 12.07?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any additional comments or questions on those items?
If I could just make one comment, my daughter didn't have Miss Magro. She had Miss Wong, and I heard like both of you guys were like kind of working a little bit together, and it's like in the same realm of technology. Like it's sad for me to see Miss Wong go. She did a really good impact on my daughter, the way that she taught virtually. So I'm just wanted to say, I'm sad to see her go, but that's it.
All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Riley?
Yes.
Mrs. Vaupel?
Yes.
Mrs. Butchko?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Mr. Tavy?
Yes.
Mrs. Ezekiel?
Yes.
Mrs. Marmion?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes. All right, on to section 13, School Community Relations and the Policy Committee. Ms. Butchko.
So I'm going to start with 13.01, which is the PTA report. The PTA's been really busy lately. It's nice to have a lot of fun things happening. So the PTA hosted a teddy bear picnic on April 29th for pre-K students in the school cafeteria. We participated in Teacher Appreciation Week the first week of May, so provided lots of fun treats for teachers and staff that week, and a couple fun surprises, including a sign out in front, which was spearheaded by parents and not the Teacher Appreciation Committee, but PTA members nonetheless. It also hosted Muffins with Mom, which was supposed to be outside, and then it rained, so it was moved inside, and it was very crowded, but very fun, and it was fun to have that event back as well. And then the Spring Fling was just past Saturday, also moved inside due to rain, but it was very well attended. I don't have numbers yet for how well it did, but it's really exciting to have that event back because it's a lot of fun. Coming up, we have the townwide yard sale on Saturday, June 4th. The PTA is also working on 5th grade promotion activities. And at our last meeting, which was on May 3rd, we elected the officers for the new year. So there's a new president coming in, so that's Jess Rutherford. And then the treasurer is Alicia Richmond. Vice president is Lila Anjadar. And then recording secretary is one of our teachers here at school, Mrs. Ashudo. So that's really fun. And then Jamie Cushman will be moving into the membership secretary position. And then we still have an existing vice president, that's Jen Yoder, who is our part-time school nurse here as well. So it's nice that we have some faculty on the PTA board as well. And that is all I have for PTA, so I'm going to pass it to Therese for 13.02.
Because we only met 3 weeks ago, I don't have an update from OMASAC. OMASAC has not met, but still working on, I think the overall scholarship committee met and decided on scholarships, so that's probably the only update right now.
All right, and Jimmy can give us an update on the Oaklyn Education Foundation.
It's my first time, so bear with me. A higher purpose. We met last Thursday with OEF. Therese came with us to make sure I was well mannered. But they a couple of the notes that I have is they did a big I guess somewhat fundraiser for tech for like repairing their Chromebooks and everything, but none of that money got used. So there's a decent chunk of money sitting in the account that's ready to go towards a tech purpose, and they're also wondering about smart boards and whether or not they're working or not. And
There was something that Mrs. Bolden wants. We just can't. I forget what you emailed me, but the items that we just can't get. They're not in stock anywhere. So we do have something in mind for some of those funds. It's just Patrick, our wonderful tech back there. The vendor just doesn't have what Jen has requested. So
Right,
we're still working on it.
So it might come back to
Yeah, my intent is to spend every dime that you are willing to give me.
Sure.
I just can't get any vendors that have the items that Ms. Bolden would like.
Can I ask what the product is?
Projectors, yeah.
Projectors?
We just can't get them right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's that. Smart boards, are they working? Smart boards? Yeah. Okay. Okay, I wonder if there was confusion between that and the smart boards, because I figured the smart boards worked. I didn't know, and I had mentioned maybe it was the education on how to use the smart boards. Like, I don't know if all the teachers are taught how to use the smart boards. Oh, cool. Yep. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Okay. Um, also discussed about the winter ball being returned. I think that that was the last thing that really happened before the pandemic. It was a big. It was at the VFW. It's like a big ball that everybody got dressed up for and went in as a big fundraiser. So they're talking about bringing that back this winter. What else? Upgrade pre-K tablets. Does pre-K do you remember what that was?
So we had, OEF had supported purchasing tablets for the pre-K program, and there was a question as to whether or not it was a couple of years ago. It was time for upgrades.
They're still in good shape. Okay. And then finally, is it okay for some of the OEF members to go to faculty meetings? Is that is our faculty meetings like private, or can?
What I would share is that if there is a specific sector or a segment or a targeted discussion, that would be appropriate. Probably would not be appropriate, especially if they're discussing student records or confidential items.
So is there like an open public part of the faculty meetings at
No.
all? Okay.
No.
I think it was because they wanted to come in and speak with the teachers themselves and see if there was anything, the OEF could do and provide for teachers themselves.
Yeah, they can reach out to Jen.
Yeah. No. Oh no. No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
more information sharing, not gathering.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Okay. That's all I have.
Maybe also the reaching out to local businesses to help raise funds for
That was
OEF.
my idea.
Yes.
But I didn't write that down.
All right, and Bill is not here for the Collingswood update, so I believe that is all that we have.
And I don't have one for you for Collingswood either. So,
All right, thanks.
all right, we're going to move on to section 14, miscellaneous. Dr. McDowell.
So this is probably the easiest one. There are no HIB reports, 14.01. But for your review is 14.02. Based on Principal Bolden and the school team here in Oaklyn, really focusing and working collaboratively with our assistant soup and the finance department, we will be adding an additional administrator for this upcoming year to help provide additional student supervision and then targeted support to our teachers. So the job description that you have is that new role where we were able to leverage our resources to add an additional team member, and they will support primarily pre-K to 3 instructionally, and then they will work in partnership with Principal Bolden. And that job description is attached.
All right, so we're just looking for approval of item 14.02. So do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments on the item? All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Riley?
Yes.
Mrs. Halpel?
Yes.
Mrs. Butchko?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Mr. Tavy?
Yes.
Mrs. Ezekiel?
Yes.
Mrs. Marmion?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes. All right, on to section 15. This is our second public participation area. This is open for comments. Any comments, they do not have to be related to items on the agenda. We ask that you please stand, state your name and address, keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Is there anyone from the public who would wish to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 16, which is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I just have two little things I'd like to say.
Sure.
Can we put Ms. Bolden on a microphone, because we ask her so many questions during the meetings, and they're not, when she answers, it doesn't get heard to the public.
Patrick is saying yes, so
Yes.
we'll figure it out.
Sorry, Jen.
I'm looking at the tech chief in the back row, and he's nodding yes.
I'm looking at
So-
Jen, and she's going to hit me. I mean, seriously. But I know we ask her so many questions, and she answers a lot of our things, but I know we can barely hear you, and I know that Bill's going to have a scream because he can't hear her. You know what I mean? And
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree.
And I think there was a second thing that I wanted to ask about. Oh, yeah, I want to thank the tech people. This was much better tonight. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you indeed.
Can I add one? We don't talk a lot about like what happens in the middle school and high school, but we have a lot of kids that came from Oaklyn that are in there, and I just wanted to let everybody know that the girls softball middle school made it to their championship to play Thursday. They won tonight. It was a really good game.
So I've just got a quick comment. We're here, celebrating Miss Magro, rightfully so. But I also want to just give a shout out to all of our faculty and staff in Oaklyn. This week is NJSLA testing, and despite all of the confusion, the chaos, all of this external noise that's been happening outside of our school, our educators have done a phenomenal job keeping the focus on instruction, specifically math, making math attainable, accessible, and more fun. And we're expecting a lot of positive things based on their collective efforts. So I just wanted to acknowledge them for all of the work that they've been doing.
Yep, certainly second that for sure. Any other comments from the board? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.